What's good, y'all? It's Pod.cannion. I'm back with another reaction video. This is Xevi, the bizarre case of Casey Anthony. I'm pretty sure this is where uh a lady fed her kids to some hyenas. I could be wrong, but
Wow.
yeah, that is interesting. She Where is she now? Like she got to there's no way she got away with this. Let me look at this
A
trial.
woman who hopped
If
up
y'all like the video, like, subscribe if you're new. Let's check this video out.
made this TikTok about how she's becoming a legal.
We gotta find her.
those who need it most, especially her
So
daughter.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, yep, yeah. This is the case. I remember hearing this. I had like a podcast version of this. So this is like a case thing where this lady went to, I think, another country, and she left her daughter somehow unattended, and then she said, my daughter was eaten by hyenas. So I don't know if she got away with it, but let's see.
No, she killed it.
I know what you're
She
thinking.
had to.
So, well, there's something I forgot to tell you. She is the one who, her daughter, allegedly, and that's a big allegedly, because she was found not guilty
Getting rolled
on the
up.
charges.
She
Now, this
did
is
get
regarded
found
as
not
one of the
guilty.
most
I knew it. I was
controversial
like, bro, I was
cases
in
in
work
American
like
history. You'll see why in a moment.
I was in work like
See,
no
Casey
fucking-
Anthony had a problem. One day, her
I was
daughter,
losing my-
Kaylee Anthony, went missing. Casey's mom, Cindy, remember those names, asked her, hey, where's your daughter? Now, Casey's mom, Cindy, asked this because they all live in the same house. So Cindy's like, yo, I have not seen my granddaughter, Kaylee, around. Casey said, no big deal, mom. Kaylee's just with the babysitter. The mom says, okay, fine. Well, then a month passes. The mom says, excuse me, Casey. Now, this whole time, Casey been going to parties, going out,
Casey
having a good
Anthony.
time.
Oh, I'm
Casey
remembering
says,
this
"What,
story.
Mom?"
Fuck.
The mom says,
Fuck that
no.
bitch. Oh my
The mom
god.
immediately calls the police. The police come over.
Literally.
and ask the same-
Oh my gosh. So imagine the grandma. What are you looking for?
2 packs of papers in here, though, bro.
No fact. No. So pretty much the grandma who's like Casey's mom was calling like, hey, where's my granddaughter at? She's like, where's my granddaughter at? So then she's like, remember, she's in a whole nother country. She's like, oh, my daughter's with the babysitter. This whole time, a month later, she's just partying, having the time of her life. Like, she's like, oh, I don't have to deal with my child no more. Fazo. Yeah. Yeah, so, look at this evil bitch. Oh my gosh. Let's get it.
They said, Casey, where's your daughter? Casey says, oh no, she with the babysitter. She tells the police that the babysitter must have taken her daughter. Police say, okay, where's the babysitter? Now, here's what you gotta understand. Casey, in her own words, is a liar.
Yes.
Not your ordinary type of liar. A
Pathological liar.
You'll see the difference in a moment.
Yes.
She tells the police, fine, let's go to the babysitter's house. They go over to the address that Casey gives them. Nobody was living at that house. They said, Casey, nobody's living in this house. Casey says, what? Are you for real? Just straight lying. The police at this point, obviously suspicious. They tell her, have you told anyone that your daughter's missing? She says, yeah. I told my coworkers. They tell her, okay, where are your coworkers? She said, oh, my coworkers are at Universal Studios where I work. They say, okay, let's go.
Let's
She
go.
says, go where? They say, girl, what do you think this is? We're talking about missing girl.
No, for
Take us to where you work. Universal
that
Studios.
shit was making I thought she was so cooked. I don't know how she got away
So the
with
police
this.
and Casey Anthony go to Universal Studios. She walked in, started waving at people. She's actually doing it. She's actually waving at people. The police look at who she's waving at. The one's like kind of waving back a little bit. They're like, Casey, do you work here or not? Casey says, I used to work here 3 years ago. That poses a problem, right? Because Casey's daughter was missing 30 days ago. So she didn't tell no coworkers at Universal Studio. The police say, come on. They lock Casey up. But at this point, nobody knows where her daughter Kaylee is. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could Casey possibly get away with this? Well, hold on. We finna get to that. See, to understand how Casey got away with it, allegedly, we have to look at her family. They hop on television as soon as Casey gets arrested. They're saying they still believe their daughter, Kaylee, is out there somewhere. Now, they have a family spokesperson with them, a person that makes them look good in the media and all that. He quits. He says, something ain't right with not just Casey.
The whole family?
With the whole family. Let's get into it. As we start diving deeper into the story, I want you to remember 2 things. 1,
what did I forget
the
about
Anthony
them?
family, like I said, is erratic. And 2, this next part.
No type of weed in here yesterday at all.
So that's what I'm thinking, because I was talking with Jordan like earlier, and he was like, there are like other ways they check to see. Like we might have to scrub the walls because they might have like a Q-tip or something that they like brush off of the wall. Like you know how smoke. Because I've definitely scrubbed
it would take that shit to that type of extent though. Like that's weird.
Because the first thing that
came into your room, Dwayne, and like this is they not the police. What is this, an investigation? What are you, a criminal, a crime scene? Why are you taking samples off of my wall, nigga? The fuck? Like no bullshit, bro.
That's what I'm saying. The first thing he said was like, "Oh, the roommate, obviously, right?" Because he's like, I've been here for a year and I don't give a fuck, but that roommate's here and now. I was like, I don't want to think of that.
Maybe it's because you need to just pay your rent to stop bringing the attention over here.
That might be it too.
I'm not even joking.
Cause remember I told you I was like, anytime someone doesn't pay rent, it just brings attention over because they check the place out.
Like when we were standing around the corner, second floor bitch won't paying the rent, had sheriff showing up there.
Yeah.
You feel me? Trying to kick her out, like.
It'd be like that, man.
Police in this case were incompetent.
I
so
think
the police get a call.
Yesterday.
Like, Casey's arrested at this
I don't know what water that is.
Saying, we don't know what's going on. Right? So the police get a call. This person is a meter reader. He says, hey, I think I saw a strange object in the forest area around the Anthony house. The police say, let me stop you right there. Don't talk to us about that. Call the tip line if you have a tip. He says, okay. He calls the tip line. Tip line don't pick up. Yep. So he tries again later. The police go over. They say, what? He said, what? Over there.
Just do your job, police. Come on.
A skull.
A skull?
Look around a little bit. They're like, we ain't seen nothing. They leave. 2 months later, and this is important. Time is of the essence when trying to determine what happened to somebody who has been, if you haven't guessed by now, what he saw in the forest was Kaylee, Casey Anthony's daughter. But day by day, more forensic evidence is being lost. So he tries again a few months later. The police go over. They see Kaylee Anthony. They charge Casey Anthony with her daughter. Boom, let's jump straight to the trial, because here's where things start to get wicked. Casey Anthony had one hell of a lawyer. See, her lawyer's plan was to cause doubt as to if Casey did it or not. He does not have to prove that Casey is innocent. He just has to make you doubt that she did it. So the lawyer says, look, I already know who did it. It was Casey's dad.
Create your future as an animator.
You have your lawyer blame your father for the incident. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
The story that Casey's lawyer brings up is that Casey's dad found Kaylee in the pool. Sadly, she was already gone. The dad says, oh my gosh, I don't want my daughter, Casey, to get in trouble for this. Because Casey wasn't watching Kaylee. Kaylee went into the pool. So the dad, George, went to Casey, told her what happened, and told her, I'll take care of it. Casey starts crying. The dad says, don't cry, don't cry. Your daughter's actually okay. So Casey believed her daughter was okay. That's why she was perfectly fine and going to parties and all that. Now, that sounds insane, right?
This is literally a lot.
So Casey's lawyer has to get a little bit deeper. He says, oh, by the way, there's something I forgot to tell y'all. Casey's dad, George, did terrible things to Casey when she was young.
No.
That's why Casey's able to lie so easily, go to parties, cover her feelings. The prosecutor said, boy, y'all sound stupid. Ain't nobody gonna believe that story.
Not believing
they bring up George, Casey's dad. They said, is Casey's story true? Are you the one who found Kaylee? The dad looks genuinely shocked. He says, no. And here's the most important part of the story. As a jury member, all you hear is facts. Kind of like this video. All you're hearing is facts. But seeing people's actual emotions makes things very different. Listen closely. Y'all remember when I told you Casey was out there partying? Meanwhile, the whole time they couldn't find her daughter? I can't tell you how Casey is feeling in this picture. But she looked like she having a good time. In all the pictures she's partying in. They record a conversation that Casey's parents are having with Casey. They seem heartbroken, saying, where is Kaylee? We need to find her. Casey chilling on the phone. She's like, huh? Oh, yeah. Hopefully they find her. But maybe that's how Casey processes things. Before this trial, there's something I didn't tell you. George, the dad, tried to himself.
Oh.
On a note, it said, basically, I can't take the loss of losing both my granddaughter and my daughter. The police caught him just in time, and they saved his life. But I can't tell you if he tried it himself because he was sad, or if he tried it himself because he was feeling guilty about the situation. So all the jury is allowed to hear is straight facts. Casey's daughter was missing.
Literally,
Casey lied about it. Defendants say, her dad made her lie. Okay, Casey went partying while her daughter was missing. Defense, hey, that's how she processed emotions because her dad did terrible things. Okay, but the prosecutors had another ace up their sleeve.
Come on now,
Turns out they found traces of chloroform, something that can be used to people, and evidence that someone was in Casey's car. They said, okay, explain that. Casey's lawyer says gladly. Because remember what we talked about earlier in this video, how long it took police to find Kaylee because they screwed up. So Casey's lawyer says, well, y'all found chloroform in Casey's car, but did you find chloroform on Kaylee? Can you guys prove that that's how she was sadly?
That's how the lawyers got
They
him.
couldn't because it took them so long to find her.
Yep.
The prosecution says, hold on, we're not done. We found a Google search that said chloroform on Casey's laptop. And in a bizarre twist, Casey's mom, Cindy, goes up and says, oh, I'm the one who searched up chloroform.
No fucking way.
I was trying to search up chlorophyll. It's plant stuff. And I searched up chloroform. They said, Mama, somebody typed in chloroform, clicked enter. She said, oh, yeah, at that point, I was just curious, so I just searched it up. They said, Mama,
are you lying?
you was at work. You clocked in at work when that search was searched up. And her answer to that was, well, sometimes she'd be working at home, so they'd messing up the time card. Casey's lawyer said,
fuck. Very upsetting.
The whole time,
No
Casey's lawyer is actually terrified because there was another Google search that he knew about. A Google search that said foolproof ways to... The prosecution never brings it up. Why didn't they bring it up? Well, it's quite simple, actually, because they didn't know about it. They searched Casey's laptop, but they only searched Internet Explorer history. Casey used Firefox, and this one mistake had the potential to turn this entire case around. How do I know this? Because they asked Casey's lawyer afterwards. They said, what do you think about the evidence? He said, boy, I think Casey's innocent. I really do. I believe her dad may have searched that up because, remember, her dad tried it himself. But boy, the next tab after foolproof ways to was MySpace. Casey uses MySpace. Casey's dad don't have a MySpace. He said that would have been tough.
Yeah.
They asked the prosecutors, what do you think about that? The prosecutor said, dang, that's an oversight. I wish we would have had that. Now, with all of this evidence, or lack thereof, the jury still thought she did it. But her lawyer reminded them in his ending statement, if there's a doubt,
if there's any
then
type
y'all
of
better
doubt,
say no.
y'all better say
Like,
no.
okay, there
That's how
are
lawyers get us
reasonably
every time.
some doubts. So they said, not guilty.
Damn.
They didn't say innocent. They said,
Insane.
not guilty. Now, this isn't the jury's fault. They can only work with what they have. In fact, they said, but she is guilty for lying to the police. 4 counts. They were trying to give her some time. But the prosecutors sucked so bad, and her lawyer was so good that her lawyer said, you know what? Let's make it 2 counts instead of 4. The judge said, boy, you better stop. He then convinces the courts that the 4 counts actually is kind of 2 counts if you think about it. On top of that,
what a lawyer.
she already had some time served because she was locked up before. So it amounts to about 10 days. They said,
stop it.
Can't argue with that.
Oh,
she got 10 days in prison and walked out. Now, as you can probably imagine, the verdict was met with extreme outrage. As for where Casey went after the trial, she started living with one of her defense attorneys. Her parents said, nah, you can't come back to the crib, obviously. She made a few documentaries about the case, and some of the juries watched them, and in their words, boy, I wish we can go back and I could just say she was guilty. I don't know what I was thinking. And then many years later, she pops up on TikTok saying that she's a legal advocate. So you can imagine why people are a little confused that Casey Anthony is just popping up on their feed. At the end of the day,
Don't let Casey Anthony pop on my feet.
R.I.P. to the little one, Kaylee. Now, I know the story is a lot longer than what people are used to, so if you made it this far, congratulations. It was just the nature of this story.
Yeah, that was one.
But longer stories are going to go on the podcast from now on.
Snap.
And in fact, I just finished the first episode of it, and it will be coming out next week. I was planning on saying this news in a happier announcement, but since this was a long story, I figured the people who like the long stories are going to watch this part, so check it out. And the story was a tiring one to research. But anyway, check out the podcast coming out next week if you like the longer stories.
Shout out Xevi with that video. Excuse me. Yeah, if y'all like that video, like it. Casey Anthony pisses me off. But yeah.
That's weird.
That is so weird, bro. But
killing our daughter crazy.
It's nasty work. The whole family's weird for helping her. Bless you. Bless me. But yeah, the whole thing is weird for helping her out. If y'all like the video, like it.
This about race, but let.
No, for real. No, for real. What's understood don't need to be said. Oh yeah, she got 10 days and walked out a free person.
They think one of us would have did it. Life without parole, no question.
Well, all they need is just a suggestion, just the possibility. But yeah, man, if y'all got any suggestions, let me know down in the comment below. Like the video if you like it, subscribe if you're new, because all we do is chill over here. With that being said, y'all be great. Y'all be safe. Keep you into that bag. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Peace.